Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today we have another Age of Sigmar start collecting video for you, and today we're going to be focusing on the Greywater Fastness box set for the Cities of Sigmar faction in the game. So for starters, let's get looking at the starter set and what exactly comes inside this box set. And so for starters, we get a couple of Warden heroes. The first one we get is the Warden King. This is a combat focused hero who has an oath stone where you can sort of plant his stone and make some Dwarden around him ignore battle shock. He's also got the ability to add one to the attacks units of Dwarden near him in melee, which is nice as well. So he's a nice frontline leading hero that can stand by your troops and sort of give them a nice bunch of benefits. The other hero we get is a Cog Smith. This is a artillery focused hero who pretty much works around your artillery models. He's got the ability to heal wounds to them and also has some own shooting power of his own, which is really nice. But the big thing comes where he gets to shoot you or heal other units rather, and also that he can bring some extra shooting to the game by standing near some of the models in the army. So particularly, he stands near any of your war machines and he gets to give them some nice little benefits. Into our units, and we've got a dual kit for the unit in the box. Ironbreakers and Iron Drakes are two different units that can be built out of the same kit, and the Ironbreakers are the one pictured here. They're a frontline combat unit, they're great for holding the line, got some really nice solid defensive stats. Don't necessarily put out an awful lot of damage, but will hold your line very well. On the other hand, you have Iron Drakes, which are an absolutely powerful shooting unit, and actually one of the units I recommend building rather than the one you see pictured here. The Iron Drakes are going to give you some shooting that you might not otherwise get. They also are one of the units that makes great use of some of the Greywater Fastness particular abilities that it gives your army. They're one of the units particularly called out by some of the abilities from the sub-faction, so they're going to get a lot out of them. Though I don't think you've got a bad option either way you do it. Lastly, you've got a Gyrocopter or a Gyro Bomber. This is another dual kit inside the box set. You see here, the one pictured is the Gyro Bomber, though I do think Gyrocopters are probably the better option, so I'd probably recommend building a Gyrocopter instead of the pictured Gyro Bomber you see here. Gyrocopters have a Sting Gun, which is a close range weapon, which sort of hits an amount of models in the unit in range of its attack. And they're also an elite unit, which means they can use command points on themselves. So this is a nice little benefit for the Gyrocopters that you'll find in the FAQ. The ability to use command points to give them +1 to hit or +1 save is nice, or you know, the extra runs and all that sort of stuff. Some great abilities can be used on the Gyrocopters to make them really useful. And even Unleash Hell works out fantastic on them. Now, before we get on to talking about how we can expand on our initial box set for Anvil Guard, I want to talk a little bit about endless spells in the Cities of Sigmar. For starters, all Cities of Sigmar wizards get +1 to cast endless spells, so this is cool. It's a nice little benefit. You will notice this is currently different than what's in your Battle Tome, as the Battle Tome ability was overruled due to how it changed, because obviously that does no longer work with how endless spells now work in the game. Also, if you choose to invest in some endless spells, there's a cool city called Hallowheart, which is a magic heavy city which has some additional bonuses that make endless spell use in the game and in the army very enticing as an option to use in your Cities of Sigmar armies. But now, let's go look at some units and some stuff we can bring into our army to sort of complement the initial contents of our box set. Alright, and so let's get looking at some other units that we can bring into our start collecting box, or rather alongside our start collecting box, to give us and flesh out our army. For starters, we're going to look at Free Guild Handgunners. Free Guild Handgunners, like Iron Drakes, as I mentioned at the start of the video, are one of the units that actually gets benefits from the particular sub-faction, the Greywater Fastness sub-faction in the army, so they get access to the particular allegiance abilities for this particular sub-faction that give them some extra punching power in the army. So the big one with this is the Commandability Salvo Fire. So this is what I'm talking about. You've got to pick a friendly handgunner or Iron Drake unit that's Greywater Fastness that's near a hero, and you can add one to their hit rolls. So really nice. Now, the handgunners do already get some bonuses to hit, so there's some stuff with that. But what this can do is start to allow you to ignore some of the negatives to hit they may suffer. Also, handgunners generally only get +1 to hit when they don't move, so this allows you to move your army around and get some more sort of mobility out of these units that otherwise might not get as much damage potential if they're moving. Next up, we've got the Ironworld Artillery. Ironworld Artillery units are great. They've got a couple of cool ones here, and the Hellblaster Volley Gun you see pictured here, and the Hellstrom Rocket Battery, which is literally a bunch of rockets that just shoot off into the distance. Both of these are really fun pieces and do get some cool abilities in Ironworld Arsenal that's allowed to take not only an additional artillery piece in the army, but also it gives an extra 3-inch range to all these artillery pieces. That extra bit of range can be massive. I don't think people realize how big 3-inch is, especially on the new board sizes. This is absolutely huge. Next up, one of my favorite pieces for the Ironworld Arsenal, and I think it just fits in so well with the Greywater Fastness. So noting this is an artillery piece as well as a behemoth, so we have the Steam Tank. The Steam Tank is literally a giant steam-powered tank. It's a Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer Age of Sigmar tank. It's awesome. It's got a great little cannon on the front, it's got a steam gun on top, and can even have a hero variation of the model that allows you to take a hero option of it and get the benefit of being able to use command abilities on the tank as well, which is nice. This model can also be taken as a battle line in your army if you are choosing to take a steam tank commander, the character variation, as your general. So you can have an army of entire steam tanks if you so wanted to. The last model I want to talk about, though, is another hero, the Lord Ordinator. The Lord Ordinator is a Stormcast Eternals model. Now, I know what you're saying, that's not a Cities of Sigmar model, but Cities of Sigmar have a rule where they're allowed to bring in some coalition units from Stormcast Eternals, and the Lord Ordinator has an ability where he gives +1 to hit to all friendly order units around him that are war machines. So this can be used for your Ironworld Arsenal artillery, and also if you in larger games, if you want to bring in, say, some Celestar Ballistas from Stormcast Eternals in addition to the Ordinator, he gives +1 to hit to them as well. All working together in Stormcast Eternals, the units are going to work great inside your Greywater Fastness army. Alrighty, and so here we have a little sample army list of a Greywater Fastness that we put together using the Start Collecting box as a core foundation. Now, for starters, we've gone with the Warden King. He's going to be our general. He's nice and survivable a character. One of the better 5-wing characters available to Cities of Sigmar, for survivability, that is. And he's going to have the command trait Gourmet Ranger. Now, this is a really interesting and fun command trait. Units wholly within 12 inch of him get, run, and shoot. So this is great. He's going to be able to take some of our shooting units and really give us a lot more movement and versatility on the table to be able to react to threats that we're coming up against. He is going to have the artifact, the Amulet of Destiny, which is one of the generic artifacts that is a 5-up ward save. The reason why we've gone for this artifact over any of the others is really because he's putting out that run and charge, he's really important to us, so we want to keep him alive as long as possible. Our Cog Smith is going to be our other character that's going to be sitting in the backfield with our artillery pieces that we're taking, and he's going to be the General's Adjutant. It's unlikely you're going to get too much use out of this, maybe past the first command point roll, but it's worth noting, you deploy your two characters here together and get that first roll in the first turn, and maybe, when you're trying to play on the defensive or you're trying to play on a counter attack, you might get 2 turns worth of this, but in general, it's probably just going to be the 1 turn you get before your Warden King starts going off on its own with the shooting units moving around the table. Now, battle line in this, we've actually gone for 10 Ironbreakers and 10 Iron Drakes, so we've picked up an extra box set of that kit and built both variations of the kit. The Ironbreakers is going to be our one that holds the line, or they can potentially move up with the Warden King and do some good combat potential with the +1 attack they're able to get in combat. But mostly the Warden King is going to be rocking around with those Iron Drakes and the Handgunners, who are going to be his honoured retinue, and providing a mobile fire base for the army. The reason we've gone the Handgunners as the honoured retinue is because, well, they're less valuable than Iron Drakes, so we don't mind if we lose a couple saving our Warden King. We'd much rather keep those Iron Drakes alive. For our other units, we've got the Gyrocopter in there, as you might expect. A nice piece that can just float around and deal with some opposing large model units that have, units that have lots of models are definitely what the Gyrocopter is going for. Blocks of Grots, Clan Rats, etc. Artillery piece, we went for the Hellblaster volley gun. Really, this is the one you're going to have to go for in the starting points, or you're going to have to try and find some points elsewhere. Maybe dropping the Iron Drakes down to another unit of handgunners. You might be able to get the Hellstorm rocket battery, because this army does come up to 750 points perfect. So that's going to be our artillery piece, and that's going to be hanging around in our backfield with the Cog Smith, just getting that nice +1 to hit. It's a really nice defensive piece, actually. It can do a serious amount of shots, which is cool. And for grand strategy, we've gone with Predator's Domain. This is where we have to control more terrain features at the end of the game than our opponent. And seeing as our Warden King and the units around him are running and shooting, we've got the ability that we might not look like we can actually move fast, but units can move and be effective at quite a decent speed on the table. So Predator's Domain will shoot work pretty well for this army. With that said though, if you're playing Greywater Fastness for Cities of Sigmar, I'd love to hear from you and let us know how you've gone with this box set, and if you've got this box set, how you built it, what you've done with it, how you've expanded upon it, and what you're doing with Cities in Sigmar in general. I'd love to hear from everyone, and let us know in the comments below what you're all doing with this box set. Well, thank you all for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, while you're at it, why not come chat more with us on Discord? We've got a link in the description of the video below to our Discord server. You can come chat with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming. Lastly, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel in various different ways. First of all, to our Patreon members, Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, James Crowder, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, Tim Newman, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, MJ, and Dyna226. Thank you to, as well, our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Fire Titan, Steve T, The Real Zeop, Chris Wallace, Turriot12, Vinny, and Locke Lorick. And a special thanks to our artist who does all the channel art for us, Lady Witchfox Art, thank you very much. And to our Discord moderator, Xmorphic, you do a fantastic job on Discord for us as well. Thank you all, everyone, for watching. If you'd like to help support on Patreon or YouTube member, or help support the channel in another way, you can do so by following one of the links in the description of the video to Patreon or YouTube members, or go buy some Sinful Gaming merch from our Teespring store, also linked in the video's description. That's it for today, everyone. Thank you again. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.